Hello, welcome to ShireenACT's chat. Today we are discussing the stage or the screen.
Sure, your first paid theatre performance was something to do with me.
But that's another reason why I do love film or anything that's recorded, because you have it forever.
Yeah.
I'm on my first draft of it and I wrote 3 pages about 90 times.
The music and the lighting and the...
If it happened in rehearsal, it might not happen on stage.
Theatre does give you a lot of the foundations of performance.
Doing a short film was easier.
I've read it, I think. No, I haven't read it. Have I read it? Read it? So I have 2 more fantastic guests with me today who are going to introduce themselves now.
Hello, my name's Alicia. In a nutshell, I'm a freelance actor, theatre practitioner and youth worker.
Wow, in a nutshell, because there is more.
There is more. Well, just to hone it in slightly there. Yeah.
Okay, and...
Okay, I'm Rem Conway. I am a actor, director and managing director of Conway Network.
Wow, and so you mentioned Conway Network, and you might see our venue today is, well, you can't really see the whole room, but we're actually in Conway Network's venue, so...
Beautiful. Which
is lovely. So is this where you run your sessions?
Yeah, so this is where the drama school's homed. We have story meetings for productions and meetings with clients for our agency. Amazing.
Well, again, congrats to you both, because I'm just very fascinated by both of your lives and stories.
Like we ain't fascinated about yours.
Well, that's why we're here together.
Come on, ShireenACT.
Wow. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take that. So we're discussing the stage of the screen, and I wanted to talk to you two in particular about this because I know you've dabbled in both, wrote your own projects as well. Yours obviously went to stage as well, and I don't know if you're planning to take any of those to films. So I just thought it'd be great to kind of discuss that and see. So my first question was really just, where did it all begin? What were your first experiences? Was it in the theatre? Was it in the film? And what do you do now?
So I first started in stage as a child, but say professionally, first paid piece would have been 2003, something like that. So like, firstly to get paid to do what I love was like, really? Wow, okay. And I did so it was in a theatre and it was also in a prison that we performed, so that was a different kind of experience. My love has always been theatre. People always ask, oh, you want to be in EastEnders? I'm like, no. I don't know why always EastEnders. Not that there's anything against EastEnders, but like, why is it always EastEnders? It's always EastEnders. It's like, no, like, my first love is theatre. Like, really? You don't want to be on screen? I don't know, it's something about that in the moment feeling on the stage. So yeah, my first experience was in theatre. So my thing now is, because I did take a bit of a pause, I have started to dabble in screen.
Okay.
However, as I said, like, my love is still theatre, so I will still do the both. So now I want to do both.
You want to do both?
Yeah.
But theatre's your passion?
Yeah, definitely, always and forever.
I mean, I spoke a couple episodes ago about theatre just being some people's thing, and I think I was thinking of you when I said that, because some people I know just love it. They love that liveness. For me now, I just kind of like to have the preparation, the chance to do it again with another take, but I think it's, again, inspiring to know that you just love that as your thing.
I started similarly as a child, just in theatre groups, and I think I started professionally, don't even ask me the year, can't remember the year, but actually I think the first professional performance, one of the most memorable professional performances, was the play that I actually got commissioned, wrote, directed and produced.
Okay.
And I think it's hard to say which one I love more, screen or theatre, because I think they both serve a different purpose. Theatre for me is purely for the soul.
Okay.
When I do theatre, the feeling you get every night, you can't beat. When you're on stage, that connection with the audience, the connection with other actors on stage with you, painting this picture and bringing people into your world is just, it's you can't beat that.
Yeah. That
feeds the soul. Film is more dependent on the project.
Yeah.
I've done some things in TV and films that I've just hated. And then I've done some things that I'm like, I absolutely love this. This is what it's about. This is what creating is. And I don't think you can, don't get me wrong, there are some theatre productions where you can just be like, this is not for me. but you would always get that feeling of something, especially when it goes to the audience and the audience are then you watch it. You always get that feeling. I don't know if it's the applause. I don't know what it is, but there's something about it that just feeds its soul.
I think it's the liveness of it. Like us talking now, there's something different to then when we maybe watch it back. It's different because it's live. It's
energy.
Definitely, yeah. Maybe it's the energy, and I think as well what it also is that with theatre, every night is a different night.
Yeah,
you know, I've done some performances where I'm on stage and I'm thinking these guys ain't really attention, but then at the end of it you see them, you know, standing ovation. Like, oh, all right, they did enjoy it. And then there's some where they're so in it that they're responding to what's going on stage and telling you what to do as the character. So you don't get that feeling in film.
No.
Film is quite a very much a process. We're going to do this take and we're going to look back and do it again, and we're going to do it again, then we're going to move the camera and do it again. You could do the same scene for hours. And then by the time you've come to the end of it, you're just like, oh my God, I really need to do I can't do this anymore. I can't cry again. So I think they both have different feelings. So I would say my heart and my soul is in theatre, but my heart and my soul is in film.
For different reasons, and they are very different, so that's understandable. You just said then about the theatre, about the audience kind of dictating how the show can go. I remember doing a play one night, I don't know what it was, they just weren't feeling us, and all of us left the end thinking, oh gosh, we were crap tonight, and it proper like just made everyone, it does. And then because in that I was playing the lead as well, so I thought, oh my gosh, is it me? And again, I think that's why I don't necessarily love theatre as much, because you can take it really personally. I know I can. And on the flip side, I've just done something that aired this week, and I recorded that 4 months ago, so I'd forgotten all about it. To watch it now is like, oh, actually, performance was okay, it's gone down quite well, so there's a completely different reception to it for film and theatre. So like Google's definition is that it's the audience that determines what's different and the environment. So with theatre, obviously you have an audience right in front of you watching, even though with some like television shows, they sometimes do have a live audience as well. So well, again, that's kind of, you probably get that live essence that you're talking about, as well as the whole pre-recorded.
That's a dream right there.
Yeah, because that's Uncle Ben.
That's it.
That'd be
That's
Uncle
a
Ben.
dream.
Oh my gosh,
That's a dream
Well,
right there.
we'll talk about Uncle Ben, because I'm very excited. And your project as
plug
well.
there for you, bro.
One of us had to
I
do.
got you. I got you.
Did you get the hints? I was trying to
Like, I'm sure your first paid theatre performance was something to do with me as well. Remember that?
Okay, right. Yes. My first, what was it?
That was so cute as well, because I remember I was like, oh, we've got this show, blah, 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 the fees, X, Y, Z. He's like, I have to pay that. I'm like, no, that's what you're getting paid. It's like so cute and innocent.
Okay, you.
Oh, wow.
Right, let me give Alicia her props, because that's what she wanted.
I know.
Thank you very much. No, she's right. My first paid performance was through Alicia.
How amazing.
And I'd never been paid for it before. Basically, to get paid to perform was crazy to me. I think at the time I'm thinking, this is what I love to do.
How am I getting paid? Yeah.
So when she said, oh, this is the fee, I was like, so what, I'll pay that. I was like, yeah, do I need to pay that? She's like, no, that's what we're paying you. I was like, oh.
What a feeling.
You know what I mean? So that feeling is incredible. And it's mad how we're here now.
I know.
Okay.
And then you're going to get me paid.
No, I love that.
It's crazy.
They are both very different and similar in many ways. Would you say, because I know you kind of mentioned, I think the setup's different, would you say for the actor they need to hone different skills as well?
1,000%. I think theatre does give you a lot of the foundations of performance.
Yeah.
Which is great. We was talking about this earlier, you know, in this country, you generally start in theatre, so you get a lot of the foundations, but I always say the difference is in theatre you are a lot of times you are coming out to the audience, you are reaching out to them, because the fourth wall, everything is out towards them. It's bigger, it's louder. In film, the camera's coming into you, so you need to really home in a different part of you where you can show a real natural performance. And so I say all the time that, you know, people think acting is performing. I think acting is more reacting, regardless of what you're doing. It's just reacting in the moment to what's happening. I think film exposes a performer.
Absolutely, yeah.
Any reaction, any miss when the line's dead, or you feel it and you see it.
Yeah.
Theatre, you can hide it a little bit, but it still is very difficult, because you might be saying to someone, you're going to be in an emotional state for 20 minutes of this production, and you've got to hold that for 20 minutes and be in that frame of mind for 20 minutes. That's difficult to do.
Absolutely.
Where if it was film, I can say, do it for a minute, then we're going to cut, then another minute, then we're going to cut. They definitely need to draw on different parts of their performance skills, and hone in different parts of a character, and hone in different techniques, use different warm-up techniques, different, even just processing, here's where your mark is. We need you to favour to the camera at this point, you know, we're going to move at this point, you know, even just remembering the normal process of how set works. You know, you might be in the zone, and then while they're in the zone, makeup are coming in and doing all sorts of things, and you're knocked out of the zone, and it's just like, it takes a different part of you to really get in it.
Say if like you're doing an emotional scene or anger scene, whatever it is, it's like you said, it's a bit more melodramatic, I guess, on stage, bigger, whereas on camera, they're going to pick up those kind of micro expressions almost, and you don't need to do as much, and sometimes less is definitely more with film. I don't know, how do you feel in terms of the transition?
Yeah, because I'm actually going through that now.
Yeah.
So, just trying to hone it in, tone it down, not performing out, as you said, because in theatre you're like out and loud, and so everyone can hear you and project, but film, it's like, no, the mic will pick it up, the camera will come to you, so you don't need to be all out there. And just remembering to be in that moment with that person that you're dialoguing with, and not worrying about, okay, can everyone see me? No, like, this is what's happening right now, kind of thing. So that's what I'm working on, is just that transition of, you know, bringing it down and not worrying about projecting and performing out and all of that stuff. And also when they say, like, you have to cheat this now, like you would normally relax at this, but because of the shot you need to kind of like be a bit more forward. It might feel awkward, but for the shot that's what you have to do, so it's all of that. So it's interesting, it's an interesting process, but I'm enjoying it.
I think when I started doing more TV or film work, or even just classes on kind of camera work, that was when I thought, not that I found it easier, but I thought, oh, I enjoy this actually. I need to do less, and the camera will always find me, so I can be in that moment, do that thing, and it will be captured. Or even if it's not, it's like even your voice. I've been told that I've got a powerful voice. There was a word someone used, I can't remember what it is, but it carries well. So sometimes you might even need to see me, but you could maybe hear the emotion more than anything. And I enjoy watching films as well. I don't know if I'd say more than theatre. Again, they have different experiences for both. But I think for me, my passion has to be with just the film and TV for the simplicity of it. And I've mentioned previously that for me, acting, like you were saying, is about reacting. I believe acting is just like real life. You would do as you would do in real life. Why would you rehearse it? And even though you rehearse the scene, you can't rehearse the emotion or how it's going to be delivered in that moment. So even if I was on stage or on a set, I'd still want that natural performance. Just because I've got to do it a bit bigger to reach the gods, I'd still want it to be believable. It's so important.
That's what I do. I try. You've worked with me in my plays. When I direct it in a way where it is film on stage. Because otherwise, it does become very melodramatic. And I think I do consume more film and TV than I do theatre, mainly because I think there's a more diverse variety of stories in film, particularly more film than TV, but there is more real stories, more diverse stories than there is in theatre at the moment.
I think so.
And I think creating something that is like the play, you know, like Uncle Ben, that is real and it's happening now. And we don't want it all big and musical. We want it all nice and real and feeling real. Makes the audience sit on the edge of their seats and be more in it. That's the feeling I love to get when I go to a theatre. Being on the edge of my seat thinking, wow. You know what I mean? Not halfway through this conversation, you bust out in a song. I don't like that type of thing.
Some people, and like musicals obviously very different to straight theatre. Some people are like, oh, I hate musicals, it's too out of what the scene is. That's so interesting. And just picking up on that as well, because the programme that I watched myself in this week, they'd taken out a line that I had, and that line, I think, gave a bit of my backstory away, but they've taken it out, so I was thinking, oh, I wonder why they did that. At first, again, being self-critical, I thought it must have been my performance, it wasn't good. But when I watched the scene back, I thought, you know what, it was irrelevant. They didn't need to keep that line in about me talking about that thing that happened
And you know what's crazy? Half the time it's because of the time of the episode.
And that as well, yeah.
It has to be that time of the episode.
So
they can't submit it any longer, so they have to take out something, and it might happen to just be just cut that line.
Just interesting knowing that it didn't need, in terms of the story, it didn't need, that would have then went into my story, which wasn't really relevant for that scene or the whole show.
And I think that's the difference right there as well, that you can, in theatre, once you finish that performance, I always try to let go of that performance. Like, let it do what it's done. Even if it's touched one person, I've done my job. Let it go and get ready for the next day. With film, you can watch that back and torture yourself.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Back and back and say, why did it? And then what you see, others won't see.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, oh, right, okay. But like, you could send it to me and I watch it and I'd be like, what are you talking about? I don't see that. You know what I mean? And so it is the ability to do, because when I've always said I'd love to watch myself back in and just watch what have that experience, see the audience as an audience member, what, you know, but the reality is
it's not going to happen.
I mean, I know you love theatre. Do you think part of it could be because, I mean, I don't know how you feel about looking back on yourself, but with theatre, I guess you don't have that opportunity to watch yourself back, do you? Is that a plus for you, that you think I kind of did it and then I don't have to worry about how I came across?
No, because I think, with Rem, I would like to see what I looked like and how it came across. Yeah, I think my love for theatre is more, just as I said, about that whole being in that moment, the energy of the action there and then. It's happening one time, go for it. You gotta, obviously that's also a disadvantage, you said, like, you can't rewind and come again, like, that's it, bro. So yeah,
there's so many times I wish I could rewind.
I was like, I said that line better in rehearsal than now.
Oh my God.
Is that as well, like when you rehearse, like the rehearsal before, and you're like, okay, that was sick, and then you perform, like,
where did it go?
Where did it go, bro? Like, I did it earlier and it was so...
But that's the beauty of, I think, just acting in general, that you can't recreate moments. Every moment is a new moment, so if it happened in rehearsal, it might not happen on stage, but a new moment might have happened, and again, someone else might have seen something that you didn't see, and it is beautiful. And I think we are so hard on ourselves, and often, like you said, someone else will watch it and be like, that was amazing, and you're like, oh no, I wasn't good tonight. Like that night I said that show was really flat. It probably wasn't to the audience, we just might have felt like it was, but it's one of those things we'll never know. But we keep talking about it. So Uncle Ben, please tell us, what is Uncle Ben?
Uncle Ben was a script I wrote. So I finished drama school. I was doing work in London, and then I decided to like leave my agent and come back to Birmingham. And I wrote this script. To be honest, I didn't realise what it was. You know, when you write something, you just write it.
Yeah.
I just wrote it and I put it down. I didn't really realise what it was about. And I thought, you know what, let me just try and do something with this. So I took it to a producer and I just put it on her desk, and she phoned me the next day and she was like, I love it.
Wow.
Come in and have a meeting with me. So I had a meeting, the next minute, you know, she's saying, we want to put it on stage, this is what we want to do. So then I went into business mode, negotiate what I needed to negotiate, and then got it up and running. And basically what it is it's a comedy about a 66-year-old man who has two children who are in their 20s, so he had them quite late. He has other children that are in Jamaica. But he's a pillar in his community. And so a lot of people gather at his house, and he helps them through their problems and kind of gives them advice. But he's funny, he's brutal, you know, he says it as it is. And what I wanted the story to do is just reflect our community in a way that is real but positive.
Yes, yeah.
So that's why he was a single black father. I thought that was important, that we show that, you know, yes, he had a daughter who was doing extremely well and was very driven, but he also had a son who was getting in trouble with the law. But I wasn't showing that this is the son just getting in trouble with the law. I was showing this is how we deal with it as a family, and kind of using those issues to kind of, and using those stereotypes as well, to kind of mold people's minds differently, to think differently about what is happening. So we done it, Alicia was in it, and basically the first night they came to me, and like a couple of days before, like, we're gonna pull the show. So I was like, what?
Oh my gosh.
Like, we haven't sold enough tickets, we're pulling it. I said, no, listen to me. Majority of this audience will be black. They're gonna buy on the day. I'm telling you, I'm having to sell it to them.
Oh God.
And they were like, no, we have to pull it. I said, look, we're gonna be performing in this theatre on that day, whether you like it or not.
Wow.
So either you keep it on and let us perform. I said, we've been rehearsing for over 4 months now.
Oh my gosh.
So they said, okay, The first night does well, we'll continue. Sold out.
Boy.
Sold out to over 400 people.
Oh my
Sold
God,
out.
amazing.
So now we're like, oh, I told you. And then before you know it now, they just started commissioning us every year. And then I've done it again last year. But last year felt different. Last year for me felt like it needed a transition.
Okay.
It needed something. And what I mean by that is I felt like everybody else loved it, the cast loved doing it, the cast got the same kind of therapeutic experience as performers, but I just felt like this has ran its course of where it is, the medium it's on, and so now I'm packaging it for TV.
Nice, okay. And how is that process, that transition? Do you have to do any script changes or? For
sure. It is. You know, even when I used to write, because he's Jamaican, I used to write his lines in patois straight. Wow. Where if, you know, and a person who's not from that background picked it probably would not know what was being said. I'm having to write it a bit more Sean Paul. Okay. Kind of reaches more people. Right. And, you know what I'm saying? I'm having to write it more, think about the comedy a bit more, and how would a broadcaster take this? How would a broadcaster understand this, or would they dismiss this? Yeah. And, you know, there's so many elements. How can I incorporate the corporate side of things? Can I speak to this person to think about product placement and sponsorship? And it becomes more of a business.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I'm on my first draft of it, and I've wrote 3 pages. About 90 times.
Oh my God.
Just deleting and going again, because it's really difficult.
It's a case of rewriting the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a case of rewriting the whole thing. I wish I could just take the theatre script and say, here it is, but it doesn't work that way. It works completely differently.
Why do you think the theatre script and the film script are so different?
Because although it's written, and although I write it and kind of direct it in a way of it looking like film on stage, it's not written that way. You've got to think about visually what is really happening, where before visually what's happening is what happens on the stage, where now it's like visually as an audience member, what are they watching, what are they seeing,
right?
And so you've got the stage directions have to be written differently, the setup of the scenes have to be written differently, every beat has to be thought about, every line has to be thought about. If you've planted seeds, you need to make sure that they flourish by the end. And there's so many different elements that go into it. It takes a long time, and it's quite stressful.
I can imagine. The 2 things that I find really interesting, because I would have thought you would have had to maybe just change the stage directions, like instead of walk to stage left, you now turn or something. I don't know. And then what else did you say about? That's it. The beats that we were talking earlier about theatre being more, I don't know, exploratory. The actors more expressive. And obviously there's not going to be any of that now with film, and maybe, like you said, those seeds that you've planted, they do need to show at some point.
I think what makes it different in terms of writing it that way is you're now having to think, okay, when I pitched it to the theatre, it was a case of me just slapping this on their desk, them reading it and saying, I absolutely love this, make it. Then we made it happen. Then the second one, slap another one down. And then it got to the point where I think they stopped reading them and just said, make it,
oh my
trust
gosh.
you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? TV, getting through that door and getting it to the right person's desk is so hard. And so I need to write this in a way that when they see it, they can really see this vision, really understand, but not even see it. I've got to write it and then do a pilot for it and so on. But I want them to really see this vision and then see as well that there is a commercial aspect to this. It can sell, it can go on to be merchandise and this, that and the other, so that they can see the business in it. That's hard to do.
Well, good luck with you with that. I look forward.
This.
It's amazing, though. I mean, the fact that it's nice that you, as the producer, creator of that, kind of felt that no, it needs something more, and that the fact that you can just take it to film. I mean, I love the fact that you can do that, and it's not just stuck to theatre as well.
Exactly,
it's great.
No, it needs that next level now.
Yeah. Oh well, I look forward to seeing where that goes.
So I look forward to playing a part.
I can imagine that. What part did you play?
I played Vanessa, who was Buntary's best friend.
Yeah, so my best friend's daughter.
Oh, okay. I mean, just in case you haven't seen it, he actually plays a 66-year-old man in this as well. So even though he looks so youthful, he pulled it off.
I made myself look old.
What a range! What a range! So I know you guys have worked clearly over the years. has his work inspired you? I know he's probably been vice versa, but I mean, have you delved in writing or developing anything of your own?
Yeah, Rem has definitely inspired me, especially being like meeting him when he was like 15, I think it was. Like all the ideas and potential and the things. I was like, "Are you sure you're 15?" Like, and he's like, that's why I was like, I need to work with him. Like, he's so talented, so much great ideas. And then when Uncle Ben, I was like, wow. Like, just watching his journey over the years, I'm just like,
yeah, inspiring. Like
so inspiring. I'm just like,
well, guys, what are you
sorry, don't be crying right now. Yeah, so that has been very, very inspiring.
Because I know you've wrote a few projects.
Over the years, I've always like had these ideas and I just like write things down. Like I've got a drawer just full of like play ideas and film ideas, but never really done anything with them. I was like, oh, I don't have the money. I can't shoot a film. I ain't got that money and all that. So then, just as the years have gone by, I'm working with different people and doing different projects. So I think it was 2 years ago now, I went on this film and youth project, residential, through Erasmus Plus. And like we created a short film in a week, but also in that week we were learning certain things and had to do all these different challenges and do presentations and stuff. So it wasn't actually a week. So I was like, wow, like we created that in such a short period of time with no resources. I was like, I can make something. And I was like, I've got all these ideas. Let me do something. So I spoke to a cinematographer known for years, Elijah Phillips, and I was like, we always wanted to work together and do something. I was like, I've got this idea. And he was like, I love it, let me shoot it. So I was like, okay, cool. So we went through that process. I've never done my own film before. I've worked with people and seen things, but I don't know all the processes and, you know, how do you do a, what do you call it now? You know, like a shot list and all the rest of it. So I'm just making up certain things as I go along and whatever not. Yeah, so we started that, where are we, 2019 now, 2017 November, started shooting that. But then with my life of working here and traveling there and doing my projects in St. Kitts, etc., it kind of got put on pause, and then we restarted again, and then everyone's commitments, and then finally, just before I went away, this trip, so where are we? So Feb, we actually completed it, so now it's in post.
Wow.
And that's a show on mental health in young black men, but connected to grief. Okay. So it's got something a bit different about it, which I'm excited to share with people. And I think that's what has made it a bit easier to shoot as well. Well, I don't want to say too much about it, but it will make sense when you watch it. So yeah, that's been good. It's crazy how like people are willing to get involved without getting paid, and like everyone's like wants passion. Everyone wants content, so like it will help somebody have content for their site or whatever not, so and get experience. So yeah, that's been an experience and a half.
And for that, were you wrote it?
Wrote the theme song, performed the theme song. Wrote it, performed it, co-directed it, I'd say. Yeah, because all the roles weren't completely, I'd say. I guess I was the producer as well.
So you had many hats. I think that happens though when it's like your project, because I think one, you want it to be kind of what you initially set out for it to be as well. So you kind of want to have that creative control. But I mean, going from, say, your passion for theatre to then having this film project that you've kind of produced, how did that feel? Because you had no experience, I guess, in doing any of that.
It was scary and exciting.
And also, what made you want to make it a film, not do like a short play or something? Since that was like more your passion.
I felt like doing a short film was easier, if that makes sense, and that I could get away with doing it with no money.
Right. Okay.
If it was a theatre piece, maybe I could have bargained with someone and, oh, please give me the theatre space for free. Yeah, exactly. So like, it would have been more like I would have needed
more work.
Yeah,
sorry, that's okay.
And finances, I would have had to find something from somewhere. So I just thought financially it was the easiest and quickest. And plus, I want to move more into film as well. Yeah, so plus, I feel like the reach would have been wider with the film because, yeah, you can put on a play, but how many people am I going to reach
So you're
with
going
that
to reach
play?
who comes to watch it, yeah.
That's it. Right?
So with the film, I can put it on YouTube and whatever other platforms, and you know, I can go to schools and screen it and do workshops.
But that's another reason why I do love film or anything that's recorded, because you have it forever. Yeah. And if you want to use it again or reference it, you can. I think that is something I'd want to be able to look back and be like, oh, I did this, and I can watch it. I know with theatre you've experienced it, but I'd like to be able to relive it, I guess. But,
yeah, I know what you mean about that, definitely.
Yeah.
No, but what you said there is key. That, I think that's what was happening inside me when I decided Uncle Ben needs something different.
Another level.
Because, you know, we finished these plays, and because of the issues we cover and the things that we experience on stage, I get messages from people saying, this helped me do this.
Wow.
I haven't spoke to my dad in 15 years. I went and spoke to my dad after this play. People saying thank you for changing my life or saving my life, and to me it's like, wow, I didn't realise you know, that this is what we was doing. And I remember there was a performance we done called Uncle Ben's Block Party, which was our third play, and I had taken out, basically I'm quite particular when I direct something. I'm going for some comment from Alicia.
No comment. I played the fifth.
I basically took out 2 roles in the theatre, because it would mean that people would have to kind of look around to look over someone's shoulder, because we'd brought in a set now, so we had to lower the stage.
Right.
So people would have to kind of look over the people in front. I didn't want that. I said, people are paying their money, I want them to be comfortable. So I'll take out the 2 roles. Obviously I had to really barter with them, because they're like, that's 2 roles of money. I'm just like, get rid of it, I don't care. So we sorted it out, but they forgot to update it on their box office, so they oversold the show. So like 2 minutes before we go on stage, I've got the operations manager in my face, looking like she's gonna faint. We've oversold, there's no chance for them, we're gonna have to do this, I said, just reimburse them. And hopefully, it was the last show, on the last day. But people sat on the floor, people stood up for the whole show. The show's an hour and a half, people stood up the whole way, sitting on other people's laps.
Oh my God.
And I didn't know until I came at the end to say a speech, saw the lights, and I was just like, whoa. I started crying. That's a moment that sticks with me.
Okay.
But I would have loved for that moment to be able to reach other young people like myself, or on the same journey as me, or younger generations that aspire to be doing these things. Yeah. I want them to see it. And what I realised in that moment on stage was, more people need to see this for it to really make the difference that it can make. And that's what made me say, go into film. And for the same reason you're saying, it can reach more people.
Absolutely.
Film and TV does reach more people quicker.
No, it does. And I think what's interesting, just hearing all that, because I'm thinking, to not lose the kind of live essence from theatre, it would have been nice even just if that was being documented at the same time. So if you were filming the theatre process, so then you kind of get both worlds as well. But that's really interesting to think of. The UK is quite heavily theatre based as well. Maybe US, maybe kids grow up there thinking, oh, to do a film is like a first thing to do, whereas with us it's like, oh, let's do theatre. So that might be interesting as well, to consider the fact our environment dictates a lot of the time what we think is easier to do, or but I'd say this day and age with social media, I think content is the way to go. My thing for this year is content, as I keep saying. But that's really inspirational. Well, again, I know you've got some other projects as well that are kind of bubbling. So do open that drawer and, you know, make them happen. Just like you picked up Uncle Ben after how long, you can pick up yours.
100%. Alicia's mind's full of ideas.
It really is.
There's that light at the back of it.
My issue is, because as you know, like here, there and everywhere, so I had to kind of say this year, no, Alicia, just be still-ish and get things done. So like I've set myself goals of, things that need to be completed. So It's Okay Not to Be Okay, which is a short that I mentioned. That's nearly completed. I shot some Mick and St. Kitts last year. That's complete. And then I've got, I guess, 2 more ideas of short films that I want to complete this year. One, Angry Black Boy, which... that's an idea from 2006. Yes, wow. That was written as a theatre piece, but for reasons beyond my control, it didn't happen. But I believe it was a blessing in disguise. So I'm still going to do it as a theatre production, but also as a short film series.
I really look for, I've read it, I think. No, I haven't read it. Have I read it?
I've told you.
You've told me. I feel like I've read it.
You'll have a role in it, don't worry.
That's the only reason I love it. No, no.
Well, once you audition, we'll see what part you can play.
I love that.
No, but yeah, fingers crossed. Honestly, both of you, I wish you both the successes, and it will happen because you're people that make things happen, and that's what I've seen in you both over the past few years. So if you can think of anything to inspire maybe someone else to maybe go and watch something, or theatre productions, live shows, or films, short films, documentaries, anything you'd recommend anyone watching, and reasons why.
There's a few, you know.
Okay.
Something I like to watch is the Hollywood Roundtable.
Oh yeah.
Where actors, producers, agents, directors, all industry professionals really sit round a table and just talk about their journey, where they come from. And the reason why it inspires me, because I often, and it's sad to say, but I often find myself doubting myself.
Yeah.
Is this ever going to happen for me? You know where the goal is, and people look on your journey. That's why, even though you guys are saying, people look on your journey and see what you're doing, and they can see that, what's he talking about? Look at what you're doing, And I get that all the time if I complain about where I'm at. It's what you're talking about. Look at what you're doing. Look at But you have such a strong goal on where you want to be, and sometimes I beat myself up about it, or become impatient, or frustrated, or why is this not happening now? I want it now. It's about time. Come on, where's my time happening? And you might see others popping up, and you're thinking, wait, come on, But Hollywood Roundtable always reminds me that actually it's such a long journey to get to that level, and you just have to be patient with the journey, because every stage of the journey is necessary. Because these actors talk about them going from working like Denzel Washington, being a bin man, to now being one of the biggest actors in the world. It's like, you can do it, it just takes time.
And he's another one that says to do theatre and film. He's always says, jump back into it.
He loves theatre.
Practices your different skills.
I would say programmes like How to Get Away with Murder are, to me, some of the top programmes in the world.
No, I've not seen this, and they were having a go at me for this. I need to watch it.
Blasphemy.
Well, I did take a while. I think I only started watching it, was it beginning of last year? I was in St. Kitts, and I just thought, let me have a little look. Lord, I was in my bed all day, just back to back. I'm like, one more.
That's happened to me.
Wow.
And
it just hooks you in.
Because I think what's happening in TV and film at the moment, there's not many programs that are challenging the mind. There's not many programs that are actually making people sit down and work things out. It's being given to us. So it's either kind of dead shows that are either wacky comedy or crap drama, or do you know what I mean, or the typical stereotypical rubbish that we see on television, or it's a good story that's not been delivered well, where they're giving you all the information, and by the time you get the answer, you're like, oh, I knew this was going to happen. How to Get Away with Murder doesn't do that. How to Get Away with Murder keeps you questioning absolutely everything. It keeps you on your toes. So you're constantly in this thing like, huh? Wait, what? And then by the time you get to the end of the episode, they reveal something, you're like, oh!
And you're like, I'm gonna watch the next one.
Right, next one. That's exactly how you go. You might have said to yourself, at that point, I'm going to bed after this. But you're like, nope, next one. And you finally you're up all night. That's the drama I like. So How to Get Away with Murder.
Oh, absolutely.
One.
Definitely. Watch it. It's on my list, guys.
You've got to
do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, Alicia.
Okay, so a live show that I watched recently was Concubine by Amara Spence. I've heard of Amara over the last how many years, but we never ever met until recently. And that piece there, it was amazing. Especially like, it was just her. And I'm not going to say one woman show, because I know she talks about this, because she's like, it's a whole team that takes to do it. But Amara Spence, the topic, the delivery, the way, like, I felt like Stax was there, the guy that she talks about in it, and like, Stax is there, but she's playing Stax. All the characters are believable. Like, when she's stepping into this party, she's in the party, you believe she's in this party. Like, the stage was simple, but the music and the lighting and the...
Come on now.
Bad.
Amara Spence.
Bad.
Is that still on? Can anyone still catch it?
It's not in Birmingham, but she is going to be touring from September, I think she said. I think she's going to be going around schools and stuff like that. So with my girls group project that I'm going to start, I'm going to try and connect with her to...
That'd be good.
That would be great for them to see, because it's about like... sexualization and human trafficking and grooming and stuff. So the topics are so...
I want to speak to her about getting her into a couple schools.
Yeah.
Because she's an amazing artist.
Yeah.
I've always known that about her from when I used to do talent shows back in the back in the day. She used to just sing.
Yeah.
She's an amazing artist.
Oh yeah, singers. I didn't know she could sing as well. When
Is
she
she
started
from
singing, I was
Birmingham
like,
then? Okay.
Homegrown talent right there. She's incredible.
yeah.
Massive brand.
And the fact that she knew about me before, like I hadn't met her, and she's like, oh, I know a lot of people that got into theatre because of you, and I was like, me.
Do you know what it is though? It's because she consumes, you know. She's someone who, the reason why I'm glad she's made it to where she is because that's someone who deserves it.
Yeah.
That's not someone who says, I'm gonna be a film director, so I'm not gonna pick up anything to learn about it. I'm just gonna start filming. Well, you can do it that way, but she's someone who would actually sit in a theatre and just consume and just learn from absorbing. Like straight away, you already know how them people work. So she'll know about you because she studies like the whole industry in that way.
Wow.
And you do big things that you're talking about. Look how many people you've got into theatre.
That's what I'm saying. But for me, like,
because you forget.
you don't. Yeah, I don't think about it along the way. I'm just like,
Until
oh,
you're not there, you're like, can you get what you get?
yeah. And some of them don't want to let me in. But,
My time now.
but yeah, as I said, like I've just been, my passion is youth work as well anyway, so helping people, that's something that drives me. So if I hear of an opportunity or I've got an opportunity, I don't feel no way to be like, oh, Shireenah or Rem or this person, whatever, like this is going on. So to me, I've just been doing what I love along the way, not realising how many lives I've touched and then how people I don't even know about me. I was like, huh? Me? Like, I didn't do it. And then you're like, oh, okay, actually. So you forget what you've done. So if I died tomorrow, I'll be happy knowing that I have touched. Yeah. I'm not dying tomorrow, guys. Please don't know that really. Yeah, so, yeah.
And you know what's interesting then, you both did it. When you were talking, you were saying how, I don't feel like I've done blah, blah, blah. And you were just like, oh, I don't feel like I've touched people. And then you both said to each other, no, you have, you've done this. Because you just put yourself down. We have to...
It's because you're just doing it, innit?
Yeah.
You're in it. You can't see it when you're in it. And sometimes you do have to step back and say, wow, I have done these things. I've made these impacts on people's lives. And when you were starting talking there, it was making me think, actually, you know what? This is why I'm doing the podcast, because I want to document, I want to share, I want to talk about these things that other people have experienced or done to either inspire people or educate people or just to show the world what's going on. And for me personally, I want this as a personal thing just to be something I've contributed to that does affect someone's life or change their life. And I'm just so glad to have people like yourselves that are part of it.
I'm always happy to, but I keep hitting this mic.
What has it done to you?
Yeah, I'm always happy to contribute.
Yeah, same.
Because I'm very conscious of that. Growing up as a young black boy trying to make it in this industry, I remember seeing Denzel for the first time and seeing people that look like me for the first time on TV and whatnot, and thinking, oh, one day this is what I want to do. I'm very conscious that maybe there's a little boy sitting somewhere looking at me thinking, oh, one day I want to do some of that. And so platforms like this, I'm always happy to do because it can only do good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. And with myself, like, not to, bring up the colorism card, but it has been hard, like, being a darker skinned woman. It's like looking for roles as well. It's like, okay, not for me, not for me, not for me, not for me. And just that whole idea that a lot of people have had, like, oh, the lighter, the prettier and stuff like that. And like, I could be good for a role and have the skills, but then someone's like, oh, we want someone that looks like this because we think it's more pleasing to the eye and whatnot. So I want to, like you're saying, someone like you growing up looking, I want to show those young black girls you are beautiful and you can be in front of that camera and you can play these roles. And if someone's not going to give you the opportunity, you go there and create your own opportunities. You don't wait for nobody.
Absolutely.
My website will be going live very shortly, so it will be www.elishastjust.com. Shireenah will obviously put the spelling below for you to get that correct. All my social media handles are Elisha St. Just, so Instagram, Twitter, Facebook page.
Just head over to our website, www.conwaynetwork.com, or hit me up on the socials, Rem Conway.
Thank you guys so much for having you on. Hopefully I can get you back on in future where we can discuss maybe where these projects ended up. But
I'll be in Atlanta, filming with Tyler Perry. Put that into the universe, guys.
Yeah, put it out there. Why not?
Remember that today, I said it.
So today we were looking at the differences between the stage and the screen. It's for you to decide which one you want to be seeing.